Hey guys. So I wanted to share this clip with Joe Rogan interviewing Patrick Bet-David of Valuetainment. Now, many people, including myself, want to know when Joe Rogan is finally going to interview President Donald J. Trump. It's one of the most anticipated interviews probably in our lifetime. Joe Rogan is the top tier of podcasters currently, and Donald J. Trump is, I mean, come on, he speaks for himself. So people want to know when it's going to happen. Now, Bet-David asks a question directly to Joe Rogan that many people want to ask and get an answer from. And, well, here it is.
So when you having Trump on?
I don't know.
Okay. The look
I don't know. Maybe.
looks like you got something.
Maybe.
Okay, good. That's good. I think that's.
Look, at a certain point in time, it's just like, it would be interesting to hear his perspective on a lot of things. I would like to know, what is it like when you actually get into office? I would like to know things like, what is it like versus perception?
Yeah.
What is it actually like when you get in that building? Like, what are you greeted with? When do you know that people are fucking with you? When do you know that the intelligence agency is lying to you? Like, when you decided to fire Comey, what was the thought? How much did you know? Like, what's the machine like? What is the deep state really like? Really like? Because we have all these, smoky room perceptions, like from the Bill Hicks joke, where they show you the Kennedy assassination from an angle you've never seen before. What is the machine that runs this country? Because it's very clear that it's not as simple as elected representatives that are doing the will of the people. It's not.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you and Trump together.
You keep pushing that.
I think, okay, I'll tell you from my perspective, like, on why you ought to consider it when you do it. I'll just give you my,
Okay.
Just so you know, he and I don't speak. It's not something that is like, hey, his camp saying go in there and do this and do that. No, I've never interviewed the guy, so it's not like I'm, lobbying for it. But I think if, when you think about sports or you think about fights, what is the boxing world if Frazier Ali never happens, right? What is the UFC world if DC John Jones doesn't happen or Khabib Conor doesn't happen? And they're both at their peak and those fights don't happen. We can go on with sports, with baseball, with, interviews of Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jackson. You go look at, some of these things that happen with Larry King or her and, a bunch of different guys. He's a guy that's probably the most misunderstood by a side, and a guy that.
How do you think he's misunderstood? In what way?
I think the media has really painted this guy to be evil. I like to talk to people I fully disagree with, and I think they're delusional in certain areas to understand, like, what makes you believe what you just said.
Right.
Like, I don't understand what you just said.
Right.
Tell me how you could be that convinced you're right. But from your perspective, what's going on in America today, I would say if you don't do the podcast with him, you're helping the establishment and you're helping a guy named Joseph Biden. I think you're helping that person.
Yeah, I agree with Patrick Bet-David here. Now, there are some things I don't agree with on Patrick Bet-David. I mean, he still has, he's not, I guess, I don't know, fully informed, or he kind of ignores the election fraud of 2020. However, I do agree with him that if he doesn't interview Donald Trump, he's helping Joe Biden. I mean, the last thing that the Biden camp wants, or let's say the Democrat machine wants, is two of the biggest names in America, or possibly, the world, interviewing, each other for a long form format, maybe 1, 2, 3 hours. Who knows how long? I mean, Donald Trump can go on, and so can Joe Rogan. Joe Biden, on the other hand, no way. I mean, he would just hide in his basement. So I think this should happen. I believe it'll happen probably near the general election. The thing that I think would be let's say the best time would be, let's say, Trump does get convicted of one of the many indictments that they're just kind of throwing at him, this kind of shotgun approach, see whatever sticks. He won't get a fair trial, and I believe they will convict him of one of those indictments. And then let's say Trump is on house arrest at Mar-a-Lago and Joe decides to interview him at Mar-a-Lago. That would break the internet. That would just be incredible. And I and many others would watch that interview. It would be amazing. And, and there's a little more in this where Bet-David is talking about, okay, let's say 20 years from now, Joe, whether you're doing podcasting or whether you're, retired or doing something else, and people look back and I remember Joe Rogan, because I think, Joe Rogan will still be relevant like 20, 25 years from now, I believe. And I say, you know what? Okay, who he interviewed this guy, but during the political, I don't know what you call this era, but he had an opportunity to interview President Trump, and he didn't do it. This guy's top tier in terms of podcasters, and he didn't interview Donald Trump. That would be a mark that Joe would regret for the rest of his life. Joe has to get past the fear, get past the backlash he'll get from mainstream media, and just do his job and interview President Donald J. Trump. Take care, guys.